Okay, so Captain America: Brave New World dropped there during the week on Valentine's Day. I didn't get a chance to see it until today, so I want to jump on here and give some thoughts. I've kind of been scanning the media landscape on the platform and outside the platform, and it's not been great. Like, a lot of people are being very negative on this movie. Look, for reasons, I totally get it, but I wanted to see this movie myself, and I went to go see it in IMAX in the best possible way I could see this movie to give it a fair shot, because it couldn't be that bad, right? The good news is it's not that bad. It's not terrible. It's not the worst Marvel movie by a long shot. There are worse ones. It doesn't look like a PlayStation 2 game like Black Panther. It isn't as bad as Ant-Man 3. It isn't boring like Thor 2. And it isn't pointless like The Eternals for the most part. But it's kind of up there with the Marvels, where like some people really hated the Marvels, and I didn't really get why. It wasn't that bad. It was watchable. This movie's also watchable. Very watchable. It is kind of held together by tissue paper, and you do have to make some great leaps to really enjoy it, I suppose. But I think we're so deep into the MCU here that you kind of have to look at these movies as comic book issues, where you go into a comic book shop, you pick up an issue. It might not be great, but it could be really good. Now, can you really do that for, I think the budget for this was 180 million? Yeah, it was 180 million. I know it reshoots, it was probably a lot more. But that being said, not every comic book that comes out was great. A lot of them aren't. And that's kind of how I've been watching these movies for a while. So I was entertained. I was impressed, particularly with Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson. Harrison Ford, like, once I got over the initial kind of shock, Harrison Ford, he's a good actor, and he really was acting well in this movie. Like in the Indiana Jones movies, the later ones, he hasn't really been great in, so I was kind of holding my breath for that. But what surprised me most about it really was that, one, it's a sequel to The Hulk, the 2008 movie. It's more that movie than it is a Captain America movie, which is great to see. I mean, I really like that movie. I always kind of have. And it was great to see that movie getting some love, some kind of closure, particularly with the admittedly weak antagonist of this movie is, it's set up 16 years ago. Obviously, Thunderbolt Ross, again, 16 years ago. And they do a good kind of like exposition at the beginning of the movie that kind of catches you up to what's going on. Is it subtle? No. Is it good? No. But they do give you enough to go on here that if you haven't seen those movies, you know what you're getting into here. I think the issue really, and look, they do lampshade it as well. The issue here is that Sam Wilson isn't Captain America. He really can't be. He, like, that run from 2015, in my personal opinion, wasn't great. Bucky, who does show up in a cameo in this movie, should have got the shield. He's a super soldier, and like, they do everything they possibly can here to make Sam Wilson not die. Like, he is using Ant-Man powers, so much vibranium magic at one point, and and you do say, I should have taken the super serum or not that. And look, I genuinely think if they're going to keep Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson, who is great, I mean, as the Falcon, he's really good, and they didn't have to make him Captain America. That's what's so wild about it. But anyway, if they are going to do that, they need to have him take the super serum. It's stretching the realms of believability at this point. So again, look, this is spoilers straight out. He has a fight with the Red Hulk at the end. The Red Hulk's in it for like 5 minutes, which I knew going into, but it is really, it's annoying that it's only 5 minutes, but it's a good 5 minutes. But basically, like, Sam Wilson should be dead. There's no way that you survive that. The Iron Man had to have a whole suit to fight the Hulk. and there's bits where, yeah, they use a lot of the vibranium magic and blah blah blah, but like there's a couple of shots there where he gets hit and it's like, how are you not dead? How is every bone in your body not broken? Because he's just a man, and they do lampshade it, but it's not enough. It's not enough. It's stretching this far too thin, and I think it's probably going to be too thin for people to really want to come back to, particularly for Captain America. If it is Anthony Mackie still playing Captain America, which, this wasn't a movie to win people back in. What's shocking as well is like the antagonist, Signwinder, again is in it for like a couple of minutes, which is a weird choice. The actual like plot, they find you talk about the Celestial that rose up out of the ocean during the Eternals, and they're like, hey, we need to do something about this. It turns out it has lots of vibranium in it, which of course is from the X-Men, and that's like the overall pushing point for this political crisis. Now, the movie itself, again, it's very watchable. You can turn your brain off, just watch it. It's quite cool to see in IMAX as well, which the worst movie in IMAX is still okay. But there was probably a better movie here. There's probably a movie here that made sense, that had something to say or something with teeth. Obviously, it was recut to bits, reshot to bits added in, messaging change, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. You don't know. We'll probably hear eventually. The production apparently was troubled, and you can kind of see that to an extent. But as far as taking this for what it is, as it is now, if you're going in expecting something to reignite your love of the MCU, this isn't it. If you're going in to just watch a decent movie that has some good moments in it, you'll probably be relatively happy enough. But if you just happen to be a huge fan of the Hulk from 2008, you'll probably really enjoy it. I mean, it's great to see the Abomination up there again, see Samuel Stearns finally get a payoff for something they set up 16 years ago. And then obviously Thunderbolt Ross he's one of those characters where you're just kind of like, are you ever going to talk about what happened in Harlem and in the Hulk? No? Okay. They finally do. And then you get the return of Liv Tyler as Betty Ross as well, which it's nice, and then like I was listening to someone talk about this earlier on, and they're saying it's good to see the Hulk act like the Hulk again, because obviously since we've got Bruce Banner kind of fusing with the Hulk, you don't get the wild, out of control, vicious Hulk that you would expect. And the Red Hulk looks cool. It's a cool little action scene, but it has a lot of problems, man. It has a lot of problems, and if this is the way it's going to be, where they're going to patch together a movie based on reshoots and test audiences and stuff, it's not going to go well. I just can't see this making a movie like this. Really seems to be a something that's not tenable. But maybe with the new movies that are coming out with the Thunderbolts and then leading into the Avengers, it could be okay. But yeah, definitely not what I was hoping for. I wasn't disappointed. I had no expectations. But you should definitely go in with some knowledge before that it's a bit of a mess. And look, it's not a flop just yet. Apparently it's made a bunch of money, which I'm shocked by. I was expecting this to be a flop because there was no midnight showing. Usually there's a midnight showing, and that's kind of how I would judge if this movie is going to be successful or not, but it wasn't, so I was kind of shocked. But yeah, like, go in with the expectations kind of on the ground and you won't be disappointed. But guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. If it's your first time checking us out, please do like and subscribe. That helps us a great deal. And we'll be back on Nerd to Know Basis, the radio show, every single Tuesday on Phoenix 92.5 FM. We'll see you in the next one.